Hello, everyone out there. Welcome to another edition of Musing with MGL. I'm your host, as always, MGL, coming at you today live from the home studio in the beautiful state of Florida. That's why they call it the Sunshine State. So, thank you for watching, as always. Please click the like button, subscribe, comment down below. If you can, I'd really like to get my views or my followers up to at least 1,000 subscribers, which would be a pretty cool number. So, let's spread the word, and hopefully you keep checking in. So today I'm going to talk about a little something. It's kind of as a gun lawyer who specializes in criminal defense for people who use their firearm in self-defense situations or any other criminal allegation. One of the biggest things that I deal with lots of times are people who have firearms and take them places that they're not allowed to go. And today I want to talk about a topic. It's a phrase that's kind of a pet peeve of mine, again, as a criminal defense attorney, that I always see posted on Facebook or Twitter or social media, or I hear it all the time in the gun groups. And that's this phrase that you hear all the time yourself, probably, when people say concealed means concealed. The context that usually comes is somebody usually poses a question on Facebook or in a lecture or something that I do, and they're like, hey, can I carry my gun in this location? Or am I allowed to carry my gun in this location? And somebody invariably always says concealed means concealed. Well, obviously, the point that they're trying to make is, well, who cares about the law? If nobody knows that you have a firearm, what's the big deal? You should just carry concealed. And as long as it's concealed, nobody will know about it, and you can break all the laws that you want. So it's essentially somebody who's advising somebody else that they should just go ahead and break the law, because if nobody knows about it, nobody knows about it. Well, one of the reasons it's a pet peeve. Hush! We do things live here, and I don't edit. One of the reasons that's a pet peeve for me is because, again, as a criminal defense attorney, I never like advising people to break the law. Now, I'm a constitutionalist. I'm a pro Second Amendment guy. I'm a libertarian. Obviously, I'm one of these absolutists that thinks all gun laws are unconstitutional. But I'm also a practical person who, again, runs a business as criminal defense law and has friends and family and stuff like that. And I don't want to end up in prison for something that I did that I think is wrong. It's the same thing when people talk about drug laws and stuff. Look, I think all drugs should probably be legal. Again, a libertarian-minded person to me, certainly marijuana should be legal, but currently in some certain states it's not. So you can say all you want, well, it should be legal, so I'm going to smoke marijuana. Okay, well, currently it's not, so you could go to jail. So when you advise somebody to break the law because you think the law is unconstitutional, well, that's just stupid advice, and people shouldn't break the law just because they think the law is unconstitutional. The way to fix that is to elect the right people to change the law. And I've got a couple stories here that I think I'm going to use to illustrate my point. And one of them, this first one here, is Hilliard police charge man photographed with gun at girls' state wrestling tournament. Police said they were notified of the photo hours after the tournament ended, when a school official came forward with information. So the situation here is, there was a guy that went to a wrestling event at a school. In the state of Florida, you cannot bring firearms onto a school campus, whether school's in session, not in session. You can't bring it to school events. You can't bring it to school events that take place off campus, and you certainly can't have it on campus. Here's a guy who came to his daughter's wrestling tournament, and look at him. Okay? He's obviously got the gun there in his pants, concealed, but here he is cheering, and he doesn't pay attention to what he's doing. Somebody snaps a photograph, and uh-oh, there's his firearm. So concealed means concealed. Now, some people might go, well, that just means he wasn't concealing it properly. But again, this is the type of guy that probably said to himself, well, I'll just go to the school thing, even though I know I'm not allowed to, because I disagree with the gun laws, and I want to carry my gun, and concealed means concealed. And here he is. He gets caught up in the moment. He gets excited about what's happening out on the mat. He stands up and does that, and unfortunately, at the exact same time, somebody snacks a picture, and boom, there he is with a firearm right there in his waist, clearly on campus. And then what do? They issue a warrant, and they go out, and they arrest him for that charge. Here's another story. This is a really sad one. A Florida woman who had a poorly concealed 9mm Glock pistol as she walked her child onto the elementary school campus faces a felony charge, the Collier County Sheriff said. A Golden Gate Elementary School employee noticed a gun-shaped bulge under her clothing Wednesday before 8 a.m. and notified a youth Relations Bureau deputy. The deputy asked Staub if she had a weapon, and she said she did. She took the holstered gun from Staub, and she was arrested. So here's a woman, a mother, who was taking her child to school carrying a firearm. Concealed means concealed, and she had it concealed, but somebody on the campus was able to look at it and notice that it was printing essentially on her clothes. And next thing you know, she got arrested at school, probably in front of her daughter, by law enforcement and taken to jail. Now, I disagree with law enforcement's decision on that. It may have been a crime, but they have the discretion essentially to arrest her or not arrest her. They could send it in as a non-arrest case to the state attorney's office. They could write her notice to appear. They can do all those things in Florida. There's no requirement that just because they found her with a firearm on campus that they had to arrest her and embarrass her in front of everybody, put her name in the newspaper, and do all that kind of stuff. They simply could have taken the firearm, sent it in again as a non-arrest to the state attorney's office. So I disagree with the officer's discretion in this case, but I think what they were trying to do was make a point, and they're trying to make a point to the very people who have that mentality of concealed means concealed, that it's against the law to have a firearm on school campus. And just because you think you can hide it and sneak around on campus with it and get away with it because you disagree with the firearm laws, they want to make an example out of this mother and say that she can't do it. So my advice to you out there in the world is don't be that example, okay? I disagree with the laws that say you can't have firearms on school campuses or at concerts or arenas. I disagree with all those kind of laws. I think they're all infringement. However, I do know that they are the law. And until the law changes, I have no desire to be the example that the sheriff's department wants to make by arresting me on campus in front of my students, or arresting me at a Buccaneers game, or any other sort of event that the law or location that the law says you can't bring a firearm. I can't bring a firearm to court. When I go to court, I'm not allowed to have a firearm when I go to court. I really hate that law because it makes me very vulnerable from the time I get out of my car in the parking lot until the time I go to court if I'm in the middle of a contested divorce case or something along those lines. But I also know that the law says I can't have it. So I have no desire to attempt to try and bring my firearm into a courthouse because I don't want to be arrested. I don't want to lose my job, my career, and have to hire somebody like me to be a defense attorney to try and get me out of that trouble. So I hate that phrase. Concealed means concealed. It's basically an admission that you don't care about the law and you're just going to break it. And if we want to keep walking around and talking about how we're all law-abiding gun owners, but then turn around and say, I don't agree with that law, so I'm just going to break it, not a good idea. I disagree with it. Some of you may disagree with it, and please feel free to comment down below. I'll be happy to discuss the debate with you, but both as an individual, a gun owner, and as a criminal defense attorney, I would highly advise you not to make yourself an example, and don't listen to the people on Facebook who just tell you concealed means concealed. You should be well aware of the laws when you're carrying your firearm around, and well aware of the fact that if you decide to break those laws, you will suffer the consequences. So, as always, like, share, subscribe, comment below, and stay safe, stay healthy, stay vigilant, and as always, carry on.